Good morning, everybody. This is Ellis Mass. It is March 16th, 2020, and we are in the midst of dealing with the coronavirus, COVID 19. It's an issue, it's a problem that we're dealing with. We're dealing with this as individuals, as a community, and we're dealing with this as businesses. And many people have told me that they're freaking out a little bit. My advice, really, for the past several days, as I've really been trying to study and understand what's going on, has been don't panic. Whatever we do, let's not panic. Let's not lose our heads. Let's take this seriously, and let's take the actions that we need to take to help ourselves out. But let's not panic. And so it's not exactly business as usual. Let's call it business as unusual. We've got to keep moving forward. This is not normal, and we shouldn't treat it as normal. But let's also not freak out and do stuff that is counterproductive. And let's also not get mired in inaction. Let's keep moving some things forward, whether it's for the health of our business, the health of ourselves as individuals, and the market that we serve and the community that we serve and live in. All of these things are linked. So if we can keep our business moving forward, helping ourselves, our family, and those that we serve, it's going to be productive for everybody. So I want you to think about a couple of things. I'm going to share a couple of thoughts with you written by this guy, Brian Tracy. Some of you know that I'm affiliated with a group called Focal Point, created by Brian Tracy. Brian's written about 70 books on business. I took a couple of gems that have kind of come to mind and that are highly relevant for this time right now, and I want to just share them with you in this short video. The first is the Law of SelfControl. Basically, Brian's Law of SelfControl is that our happiness and our well-being is directly in proportion to the amount of control that we believe we have the ability to exert over our lives. If we think that we are in control, if we believe that we're in control, we're happier. If we believe that we're not in control, and if we believe that we're at the whim and mercy of the rest of the universe, then we don't necessarily feel happy. And that's part of the reason why everybody's freaking out so much. There is a lot out there that is outside of our control. We cannot control the virus. It exists. It's there. It's spreading. The numbers that we hear being reported are going up every day, every multiple times a day, potentially. Community spread. There are things that are going on that we cannot control. However, there is a lot that we can control. So it's important for us to frame our thoughts around what we can control. So imagine that we were climbing a mountain. We use this metaphor all the time. For regular business as usual, this applies to business as unusual as well. Our base camp are our thoughts, and specifically our self-talk, okay? We get to frame what we choose to think about. What we choose to think about is what we're focused on. So start thinking about, what can I control? What are some actions that I need to take right now? By the way, why are people buying a year's supply of toilet paper? Because they can. Buying stuff is one reaction to exert some control over the situation. I can't control the spread of the virus, but gosh darn it, I can buy some Cottonelle that's going to last for 2 years. So let's not do that. That's not necessarily the most productive use of our time, even though we can control it, if you can find it now. But let's think about different things that are maybe more productive for ourselves, for our well-being, for our business, for our market that we serve, for our community around us. I'll kind of keep coming back to that. And let's think about what we can do. Okay, we're going to get through this okay. I'm going to study. I'm going to do what the scientists are recommending that I do. And for my business, I'm going to do this. For my customers, I'm going to go do this. Have we thought about that? Part of my reaction to that, by the way, is this video. The market that I serve, if I can communicate with people and kind of help them think about things a little bit differently, I've been told, as I've spoken with some people over the last few days, that this logic that I've been sharing with them is a little helpful. So if I can spread this a little bit further, if this can go as viral as the virus, that would be phenomenal. But hopefully this is a little bit helpful. That's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on doing the right things for myself, for my business, and for my customers, for the market that I serve, as well as the community around me. Hopefully this can help us do that. Our thoughts drive our feelings. If you are thinking in a way that's framed more around what you can control and what you can do, our feelings are going to be driven that way, to that direction. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed by our feelings. Our feelings control who we are and what we do. But the problem is, feelings by themselves, they shouldn't be allowed to control us, right? Our thoughts can actually frame our feelings. And sometimes when I explain that to people, this is proven, but sometimes when I explain that to people, they think it's fake Jedi mind trick mumbo jumbo. It's actually true. It's real. If you think about something and dwell on something, that's actually going to drive and shape your feelings. If I'm about to go into a stressful presentation and I think to myself, or better yet, I say out loud, I'm going to do a great job on this presentation. I'm going to wow them. I'm going to knock their socks off. This is going to be an amazing presentation. If I say that and I frame that idea over and over again, even if I don't fully believe it at first, the action of framing that thought helps to control my feelings a little bit, at least to some degree. And it kind of builds a little bit momentum in the positive direction. We've got to get our feelings turned around. If we're feeling overwhelmed, we have to take some action, and the action has to start with our thoughts. And our thoughts have to start, we have to frame our thoughts intentionally, preferably out loud, around the things that we want to be feeling and the way that we want to be behaving, because feelings have a direct impact on our actions. We act based on how we feel. We can control somewhat how we feel based upon our thoughts and what we allow ourselves to dwell on and focus on. That's going to drive the actions. Hopefully those actions are productive and they're going to drive results or success. Now, success in an everyday business context is a little bit different maybe than what we're thinking right now. Right now, success might be I'm protecting my family, my community. I'm taking good care of my customers. I'm helping them through this crisis. Who we are today is a little bit of a microcosm of who we are always. So if we're taking good care of our clients right now, thinking about them and their needs, that's going to carry on not just today, not just during this crisis, but it's going to help us build our brand for the future as well. So let's do those things. Let's take some positive control. Let's control what we can control. Now, this is another piece. This is something that I will often kind of go to for a time management perspective. We often dwell on things that are outside of our control. There's so much right now that's outside of our control. It's important for us to stay aware and be informed, but we do have to recognize that, listen, the fact that the virus exists, not in our control. We didn't control it. The fact that there's some community spread and that the numbers keep getting bigger and better, we don't control any of that. That's going to happen. What we can control is our own behavior. So whatever we believe to be the appropriate course of action, we can control that. And there are things that we can't completely control, but we can influence. For example, other people's behavior. We can't control it. Our customers, our clients are going to do what they do. I've spoken with a number of people in the travel business, for example, over the past week. There's a lot that they can't control. They can influence their customers. For example, a number of customers that were thinking about thinking about canceling their travel plans outright. Maybe you can influence them and kind of help them understand the situation a little bit, give them some flexibility, give them some confidence that, hey, maybe just by postponing this trip by 6 months or even a year, rather than canceling it outright, that may be something that they can go ahead and influence. But ultimately taking care of what their needs are. We can control our own actions, our own behavior. We can influence many, many things. The stuff that's outside our control, let's stay informed, let's stay aware, but let's not dwell on it. Being on social media for 16 hours a day is not necessarily a healthy thing. There's going to be a lot of focus on things that are outside of our control there. Putting some time into the things that we know we can control or ought to be able to control, or even the things that we can influence, is a much, much better use of our time and our mental capacity. I'm going to leave you with one quote from Mark Twain. This is actually something that's the basis for a book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog. It's on time management. Mark Twain once said, "Eat a live frog every morning and nothing worse will happen to you for the rest of the day." Really, what we mean about that in a time management perspective is that if you've got something looming over your head, that's kind of you're dreading, that you're dwelling on, that's your frog. You basically got to take care of that frog first thing in the morning. Do it first, because if you don't take care of these things, these big looming, crushing things, they're just going to be on your mind, weighing you down. So this whole crisis kind of brings that to light as well, because if we're focused on the stuff that we can control and we take action on that, and we do that now, and we don't leave that dwelling on our minds, kind of like a monkey on our back, on our shoulders, we will feel much better. We can move positively forward. Eat the frog first. Everything else the rest of the day will seem much, much easier. As I mentioned, who we are and what we do during these couple weeks is essentially who we are always, right? So be the person that you want to be. Be the leader that you want to be. If you own a business, be the business owner that you want to be. Let your business represent to your customers, to your marketplace, to your vendors, to the community around you, what you always want it to be. Be that person, be that business now. And whatever you're going to be, particularly this week, next week, and throughout this crisis, whatever you're going to be, remember, be outstanding, because that is a choice. Now, if you'd like to have a conversation about your business at no cost, book some time with me, coachellismass.youcanbook.me. It's a 20-minute phone call. I would be more than happy to talk about how we're going to get through these next couple of weeks. Give me a buzz, and I look forward to talking with you. Good luck. Let's get through this together. We will get through this. This too shall pass. And whatever you're going to be outstanding.